For Faith and Music, a Mass for the People, it premieres at the All Saints Anglican Church in Port of Spain on Friday, March 26. Now, the bright spark behind this is musical conductor, composer, and vocal baritone Michael Hudlin. He joins us now. Hello, Michael. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine.
Now, I want you to describe your feelings leading up to this Friday, please.
Actually, I have one word that is so perfect, it's so simple, but I just feel giddy. I am so excited and so terrified, but everything just boils down to being giddy, where you know that it's something so good that you just want to share it with everyone and you can't wait to let it out.
And I asked that question in the context which I will share now, that this concert will be your final recital concert. It's required before completing a Master of Music in Conducting Choral from the Eastman School of Music in Rochester, New York. So we're saying congrats on reaching this far, and we understand, we can appreciate that sense of giddiness, being terrified and everything in between. But with that in mind though, give us a few signposts along your journey thus far, please, in music and in this sphere of life.
Well, in music itself, I started at home, as most musicians do. Started at home with my family, then I did some piano classes as a child, but it really started to take off when I was in high school, doing Broadway musical theater with Presentation College Mixed Choir and performing in the music festival there. And it was there that I also started composing seriously and deciding that this is a possible career that I wanted to pursue.
And I like the fact that you say, okay, well, started at home, but at the same time you started to look at it a little different with regard to school and that school choir. I'm not sure if the choir is still press con, but how important to you is it to have this kind of outlet and saying, okay, well, you're still in school, so you're able to explore a little bit to say, okay, well, I have an idea, this is something I want to pursue, as opposed to the instance where there are many individuals who, they finish school, they start to work, and then they say, you know, this is not what I want. And they start to explore at that kind of age.
Yeah, I always tell people that finding a community, it may not be necessarily something that you think you might want, but finding that group of people that you kind of have similar interests, and then pursuing that and looking into it and seeing how that makes you feel. That is something that also kind of inspired me to become a conductor, because that outlet, that community, created me. So I would like to give that opportunity to other people and allow them to explore themselves in that manner.
Do you think it's something that, no, you're 23, Michael, and this is one of the things I'm looking at. Now, I'm not going to dive down my history, but at 23, I don't think I was as focused. Is this something that you've had to kind of keep on the front burner, saying, okay, well, I'm going for this, or is it passion-driven? Is it a combination? How have you been able to reach where you are at this point in time?
You know, I have to be grateful for the support that I've had. I have had no one in my family say, you sure you want to do this? Nobody questioned me. And I think having that was a major catapult in towards what I'm doing. I remember the day that I got accepted into my master's program. I was sitting down in a choir rehearsal in my sister's city in Toronto, and I was looking at the choir director, and I'm just telling myself, I can't do that. Oh my gosh, she's so amazing. I can't do that. And then I said, okay, Michael, you're finished with your bachelor's. You applied for your master's. If you get into your master's, you will go to it because you know that you need it to do what you want to do well. And that was the day that I opened up the letter and I saw confetti on my screen and said, congratulations, you've been accepted to the Eastman School of Music. That moment really and truly did help me continue on this journey of education.
It sounded like it had a little ball down thing to it.
I was in the middle of rehearsal, no screaming.
Okay. Keep it inside. But I want to go down that line a little more though, because you said you have that support, but support is one thing in terms of people. Support doesn't always mean, yes, go do. Sometimes support means, well, I'm not telling you no, but many people would have been, you get those little suggestions or those little hints, they mightn't tell you outright, this is a nice hobby, you know, but I'm not sure. You sure you want to continue? So how was it? Was it like that for you, or was that support full on saying, go, achieve what you will, do what you want, but do it with excellence?
I remember there was a parent-teacher day at school, and my biology teacher told my dad, you know, I see Michael getting a 2 in biology. And my dad said, what, a 2? No, he needs to be doing his work. He needs to be focusing on his work. And my biology teacher said, we have a tendency to tell our children to focus on something that we want them to focus on. But when they have the ability, when they have the talent, and when they have the passion, they should strive to go towards that. She said, if the student wants to be a bus driver, we need to encourage them to be the best bus driver that they can possibly be. And it's not to say that all the other subjects, you don't need to focus on that. But we should encourage them as much as we can. Not halfway, not in any lukewarm fashion, but as much and as far as we can carry our children, we should support them.
Now, that support, I want to know how that ties into people's attitude to you, because it's one thing doing it in press con choir, but it is another thing being a conductor in front of some people who have seen a few more summers and Augusts than you. How do people treat with you saying, well, this is the person I'm supposed to be taking instruction from?
Well, I mean, I think it's the demeanor that I approach the ensemble with. I've had a few directors here and there who have been very strict, very stern, business. But I believe that music is supposed to be fun. That's how it was for me. I used to wake up in the morning and go and play the piano at 4 or 5 years old. It was fun. And why should it change? Why should I feel as though this is such a heavy, serious thing? So that's the approach that I take with all the ensembles. If you look, I had to record my rehearsals to send it to school, and I am making jokes with them. We are laughing with each other. We're talking stupidness, for the lack of a better word, but it's still fun, and we get the work done. People get work done when they are comfortable, and we as directors, we as the people in charge, need to help them feel comfortable, and not to hog them down or make them feel that you have to listen to me. It's about a communication.
But does that communication go a little awry sometimes? Because I remember one person in a choir saying, autocracy is the only policy. It's my way or the highway. Does that sense of fun and community and inclusion, does that present a little challenge when it's time to say, okay, well, this is the road that we're going to take to get this done, to achieve this objective?
No, not necessarily, because I tend to get them to see things my way. I will carry you along. I will say, this is how we're doing it, and this is why we're doing it. And that's something that I always appreciated about being a musician, that they always say, you know, you're doing music, you could be a teacher, but musicians are always teaching. Once we're in charge of something, not even so, me just playing, somebody can be looking on to me playing the piano and can learn something from that. So I will just explain to you why we have made these decisions, and hopefully, and well, I haven't had any backlash yet or any opposition yet.
Look at you. But we have about a minute before we take that first break, or we take the break, and I want to know your approach to creating music, because I believe the first time you started composing was as age 14, and is that same spirit of fun, that energy of joy, is that something that you bring with you when composing?
Oh, most definitely. Definitely. I think that music that changes, music that has a variety, that is what makes it interesting. That's what makes it fun. And even Beethoven, if you listen to Beethoven, within 4 bars, he has gone through 3 different moods. So I think that it's definitely something that has stayed with me from then till now.
And we take a short break. We return speaking to Michael Hudlin. Stay with us. You won't want to miss, because we have information about the concert and the inspiration for the work that is going into the concert when we return. Stay with us. Welcome back. We are speaking with Michael Hudlin, who is presenting for Faith and Music, a Mass for the People. And Michael, you could have chosen a few conductors or a few pieces of music. What is it about Mozart and this piece specifically, that said, yes, this is something that I want to tackle to achieve this prize?
Mozart is very achievable. Not to say that it's easy, but it's very doable and it's very easy to listen to. That much I can definitely say. And I mean, on the technical side of things, we chose it because it's a small piece in the sense that it requires few instruments and requires few singers. So in the light of everything that's happening now, it was the safest option. But it's full of such drama, full of such affect and feelings and character. There is in Mozart, there's a lot of drama because he is an opera composer. And even in his sacred music, there is still a lot of things to find that you can enjoy and make fun with.
No, I like the fact that you would have said that Mozart's music has always been seen as simple and beautiful. But how hard is it to dive deep and unearth some of those nuances that you want to put on display? And I say that looking at a local example, many times people would say that Shadow, when they listen to the lyrics of a Shadow composition, they say, yeah, but I can do that. And then they try to do it. And they say, okay, well, it's a little harder than I thought. How is it that you're working towards getting some of those finer flavors, those nuances out?
Well, I'm doing a class this semester called Baroque Performance Practice, which talks about music in the 16th and 17th centuries, or 15th and 16th centuries, actually. And Mozart's music has underlying dances within them. So, for instance, I'm not entirely 100% sure, but in my opinion, the first movement of the Mass, the Kyrie, is an allemande. An allemande is a French Baroque dance. And people say that you don't necessarily dance the Baroque dances, but you do. And when I'm conducting it, I am dancing. Trust me, I am dancing. So it's those kinds of feelings that the dance has, then how we feel as we dance and enjoy the music while we sing. That is one of the sub-layers. And then we have the text. The text plays a major part in how we're supposed to approach the music. For instance, in the middle of the credo, there's a text that goes et incarnatus est de Spiritu Sancto ex Maria Virgine et homo factus est, which translates to and was incarnate by the Holy Spirit, was incarnate of the Virgin Mary and became man. That is such a powerful text, not only to us, but liturgically. At that point of the Mass, people are asked to show extra reverence. And Mozart does something beautiful with it, but I felt as though he could have done a little more. So I just added something else to it that I felt brought out to that character.
You spoke about it before, and I appreciate the fact that you said, okay, we looked at how much instrumentation is used, looking at the times that we're in, because we are living within a pandemic. But how has it been preparing for this concert on Friday? I want to know who are the cast members, but also take me through the process of preparing or preparation for the performance.
Well, the cast, it comes from a lot of people that I know personally and organizations that I am affiliated with. So Anya Carty-Hart, Samantha Stanislaus, Janine Charles Ferre, Jendai Toussaint, we have Carl Anthony Hines, Edward Cumberbatch, Mark Anthony Peter, and Daniel DeCraney-Pear. All these people I know personally. So when we asked them to come and sing for us in the ensemble, it was easy, and that's what makes working with them so much fun. Also, we have Tiana Chandler, who is also the producer and who has been producing my shows since 2016. And we have Jamel Williams, who is also a wonderful tenor that I have worked with. So everyone was able to come together safely because we sang with our masks on, we had a well-ventilated space, and we sang socially distanced. So everyone was able to keep themselves safe. We did contact tracing, we sanitized the space after every rehearsal, and we made sure that everyone sanitized themselves before they came in.
And that brings me to safety protocols on the day itself. And we need to find out how it is people can be a part of it. But I think there's some space for physical presence, but I'm sure that it would be limited. So take me through that, thank you.
Yes, so it is limited. We're at the All Saints Anglican Church on Marley Street, and they have told us the limit that we're allowed. So we are working with that. We are skipping pews. We are making sure that the spaces within the pews are also safe and follow regulation. We're having the singers a good, safe distance away from the audience as well to ensure that makes people feel even more comfortable. And of course, we'll have we'll have contact tracing and sanitization, and we'll be sanitizing the space before and after the show.
But how do people access those limited seating arrangements?
Right, so you can get tickets at the All Saints Parish office, and you can get tickets from me. You can contact me at 295-7435. And I have some tickets available, and if I run out of tickets, we should be able to get some from the producer. But I can say that we do have some seats remaining.
So Michael, with decreeing and declaring, masters, it's there. What is the next step? What do you want to achieve? Because you said that you want to create opportunities for others to find their voice through music. What are some of the ways that you see yourself doing that?
I have so many ideas, and I think that we should always not lock ourselves into one thing. I'm doing music, yes, I'm doing conducting, yes, but there's so many things that I want to do with it. But in terms of what I want to do with the community, there are some things that I would like people to start doing alongside community choirs or high school choirs. I feel that we should be teaching a lot more music literacy. And not only that, but teaching musicianship in the sense of how to feel this music. And what you feel when you listen to the music, there's no right or wrong answer. What you feel is what you feel, and that is how the music speaks to you. But we must let people know that it's okay to feel that. It's okay to want to hear this music and say, yeah, I want to dance. Or yeah, I'm feeling to get up and jump. That's how I feel when I'm listening to the music. So I think that everyone should be able to explore that.
Now, I found that I've heard that you found your unique style, or you're working on finding your unique style in choral music. What are some of those flavors or factors in that style at this point in time?
Well, in terms of my compositions, I feel as though that we must be able to speak multiple languages, and those languages for me would be Western classical and our local folk and calypso styles. We do something similar to that when we arrange our calypsos or arrange folk songs. That is one aspect of it. But I think that we can have compositions that take our folk rhythms, our stylings, and put it in a quote unquote Western sense. And that way it doesn't limit us to just saying we're doing calypso or we're doing soca. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But I am looking in terms of how I can affect change and how I can create things.
Question, Michael, when you're composing, you pay a little more attention, or you cheat a little bit for the baritones and the altos? Because vocally you're a baritone yourself, right?
Yes. So I try to make everybody's part as interesting as possible. And sometimes that gets me into trouble, because I will make an alto part that is completely unnecessarily complicated. And actually, the altos are singing one of my compositions for this show, and they're like, Michael, why? But I said, but are you telling me you're only singing one note? So I gave y'all plenty this time.
I agree that altos normally have more interesting runs and roles to play. But that was a good answer, though. But we want to thank you very much for spending some time with us and sharing a little insight into what it is you're about and what it is you want to do after this milestone has been achieved, as we believe it will. So thank you once again. And on behalf of the entire news team, I'm DK Rochester. Thank you for joining us. Have a good night.